What's up? March 19th, Wednesday. 2 more playing games tonight. We'll touch on last night's, which I think absolutely reverse of what we thought was going to happen.
I think everybody thought it reversed everything.
Sleep through the 16. Maybe you get something or kind of see where it's going to go.
Well, before Ev says what he says, I don't think that.
Let me tell you who's running the show here.
Oh, boy.
Why did you
I like
set us
that.
up?
Tell him, Bosco.
DraftKings. Presented by DraftKings. When it comes to college basketball and March Mania, one thing is for sure, nothing's for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing, top seeds going home early. It's all going to happen. Bet the unexpected every upset every day with DraftKings Sportsbook with live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays. DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. Ready to make your first bet? Check out these matchups and pick a team to win. It's that simple. First time, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. We said how great that is for the, Joey in accounting and Phil in marketing, like working your thing. Like tell them, hey, bet $5 on the first game, 200 bonus bets. It might carry some casuals through the entire tournament. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PICKCENTRAL. That's code PICKCENTRAL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. All right, last night, Alabama State, St. Francis, PA. Early, we're seeing some air bowl, some gross shots. Like, we're kind of laughing it off how brutal a game it kind of looked like early. But then pretty quick, they started to drain some shots. I mean, the first couple of possessions were ugly. I don't want to say the first minutes were ugly or even, half was ugly. They started draining a bunch of shots back and forth. First half over was dead.
First half under was dead.
Yeah, first half under was dead. Lot of up and down. Alabama State hits a bunch of threes. St. Francis hits a bunch of threes. Alabama State wants to get running. Pretty entertaining. And then it comes down to the last couple minutes. Alabama State stages a huge comeback, and then there's a full court play that looks like it's almost like a video game glitch in so many ways. Like a couple of guys deflect it, ends up in the hands, off of somebody else's hands, ends up in the hands of somebody right under the basket. Puts it in, 0.07. Absolutely heartbreaking for St. Francis, PA.
I mean, it had almost like a Jaden Daniels Hail Mary vibe. Because
Yeah.
it was one of those, we're all watching it, and he throws because I think they had 3 seconds probably, something like that.
Yeah.
So they throw the deep ball, and we're all kind of like, no, what are you doing? Like they're gonna and then it just landed perfectly.
You think you have it through at half court maybe.
Well, yeah, because you had time to couple dribbles,
2 dribbles,
shot.
yeah, and it was just it landed perfectly in the guy's hand after it got batted down, and I had them live plus 145, so that was a nice save for me because we lost our under. Ev got a push, which was you, by the way, when we say the under was the right play,
I know what you're
it's
saying.
still
I hate that mentality.
It's not the mentality.
That's a loser mentality.
No, it's not.
The bet lost.
Oh, they needed a miracle to go over. Yeah.
Yeah.
They hit a million
I know.
threes.
They hit a million threes. I understand. I understand what you're saying. I just don't like that talk, especially right after you lose.
But that's long-term gambling as opposed to just everyone's do or die.
I know. I get it.
it's
But
a good the read
20
was there.
seconds after you lose the bet, you don't want to hear, oh, that was the right play. It's like, all right, it wasn't the right play.
I actually
fucking was the wrong play. You
better
lost.
about what
lost.
I had the right read on the game, but I still lost.
I understand.
I think that's okay. Anyway, that game was so bad but so good at the same time, and we were saying no one cares about this game, but it was awesome.
Great game.
Great game.
I could care less about that game at all. I thought going in, I ended up having a great time watching it. That was a great game.
Oh yeah, fantastic time. Especially when you win, it's a lot better.
Oh yeah, but that's
Still.
But the game itself though lived up to it more.
Tonight, we'll get to UNC because it takes 2 seconds that game. Under again, 128. The over-under is.
It's went down a lot, too. It opened at 133.5.
I want the under. When it's that low.
In the 16 game, you're saying?
Yeah. When it's that low, you got to go under. That's a fucking crazy line.
That is very low. But yeah, San Diego State and North Carolina looked like it had a ton of potential. That was over in 4 minutes.
I mean.
Maybe less.
This is what people were saying, and they're right. Just because a team doesn't deserve to get in doesn't mean that they're not qualified to be in. UNC is a talented team. They are. They just played bad, and San Diego State is also playing in a, like, you say whatever you want to do about the ACC. The Mountain West isn't like the craziest conference as well.
Well, I think
every year it happens every time.
It's very weird for me because I do think the Mountain West has talented teams and they have a very entertaining product, especially the fact that their games are later. Like, so when the early games end, if you're still looking to stay up or you're like, I'll put this game on and go to bed, you find yourself watching a lot of Mountain West. And it's a good, like, I think it's a good product. Entertaining lead, competitive, 4 or 5 teams jockeying for the pace. They have just done horrifically in the tournament.
But Rico, every year, right? Every year. So past like 3-4 years, the ACC hasn't been on top, right? Maybe longer. I don't even know. But the Mountain West fans are always like, we look at how we're getting the same amount of teams in as the ACC every time, and you never see any of them in the Sweet 16. Like, obviously, San Diego State had the one run, and then the rest, though, it's like Colorado State's a favorite again. The fucking who else is
Utah State, New Mexico.
Utah State and New Mexico are very, very small underdogs. Like, I don't know, but UNC yesterday was such, again, they don't deserve to be in tournament, but they are talented enough that they could beat a good amount of teams in this tournament, and they beat the fucking shit out of them.
Yeah,
yesterday.
so that's the.
And they're gonna beat Ole Miss as well.
They're favored.
Yeah,
Are they really?
I came out right away. They're favored.
That's what I'm saying. Where it's like they don't deserve. Everyone's mad, and then they're favorites. In the
Bosco
first
was
game.
saying Bosco was saying during the game though how like UNC had all the metrics though.
Yeah, they're
Like
not that bad.
due to the deep dive.
This is where it always comes in as well. People like when UNC wins, they're like, I told you UNC should have been in the tournament. It happens every year. Just because they won, they could get to the Final Four. And it doesn't mean they deserve to be in the tournament. The two are completely different statements. You get what I'm saying?
I don't necessarily agree with the whole thing, but I get.
I understand what you're saying.
I
Their
get
resume does not. They do not deserve to be in the tournament.
But it shows that it does. It shows that it does.
I don't.
No, I think
I don't
it's-
see that's. I think they are separate things.
I don't
They can
think it
play.
is.
Listen, they can
just 'cause
play
you-
with any team to be in the. It's two different things. Can they take the two statements? Can they play with any team in the tournament or a bunch of teams in the tournament and do well? Yes. Do they deserve to be in the tournament? No. Both can be true because
Does that
the
mean-
30 games that they played should decide if they get in or not. And in those 30 games or whatever it was, they did not do enough to be in the tournament. Now, that for a team like that, it sucks when you get left out because we obviously know they can go play with these teams. But they did it to themselves. You had 30 games to decide if you can make it or not, and they just didn't do it.
They still
13
but the thing is,
opportunities
though,
to win quad one games. They won one.
They do in
played in
quad
a down
What
lead.
they do in quad 2, 3, and 4?
They actually, I think, lost a quad 3 game, which Indiana didn't do.
But doesn't
Indiana, though, I don't know about Indiana. I feel like West Virginia.
It was
is
they were
more.
like the two teams that are.
But like they also didn't have great seasons as well. Like it's not like it was a must. Like I get it, they shouldn't be in, but like this bubble was so fucking weak. It was so weak. It was a perfect year for them to be this to be on that bubble. They're going to take UNC.
But if you tell me that team doesn't deserve to be there, then I think your qualifications to be there are wrong. Then you need to reevaluate how you're bringing teams in. Because I know you threw your hands, but like
one game.
No, he's saying we go like the Final Four. No.
Oh yeah, if they go to like the Final Four, like
Guess. I mean, sure.
no, but like
I don't think they will, but
I don't think so
Not going to
either.
the Final Four.
If they go to the Sweet 16, though, right?
Like I'm just saying, like just because they were really good last night, they looked awesome. And it's just one game, right? You're right, Ev. But if that's on the outside looking in, then like I gotta wonder what you do, how you picking these teams.
But who? No. But who's? This is. I think at some point the games have to matter. Where it's like you're talking about like all their analytics for like net ratings and stuff. That's all like made up like computers.
It's not made up.
Yes,
it's
it
not,
is.
No, it's not. See, this is what the issue people have with analytics. It's nothing's made up. You're taking actual numbers. You're taking actual data and using that to come to a conclusion. Nothing's made up. Those things happened.
It's what happened. Yeah, what happened on the court? They
Right.
didn't beat any teams. But
They did beat teams, though. They did beat teams.
No, they
Like,
didn't.
yes,
No,
they
beat
they went
one-
23 and 12,
they
bro.
beat one team in the field.
Yeah, but they went 23 and 12. Like they've won. That's not a bad record.
They beat one team in the field.
I mean, it's
But there is a separation. Like just because they're capable of making a run doesn't mean they just like deserve to be like they.
Why?
deserved it.
I'll push back on that.
Because there's a bunch of teams that you could argue could have made runs that they just
Right.
they're not
Like
gonna get
West
an
Virginia could have had a better season too. They went 10-10 in the Big 12.
Yeah, Big 12 is a much better conference.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, Georgia should
They also beat a bunch of good teams.
Yeah, but they also lost to a bunch of bad teams.
No, not really though.
But see,
they lose, so that was bad.
I can look right now, but like they went 19-13. It's not like it's like I get it's unfortunate for them, but like UNC doesn't like necessarily not deserve to be in. I don't get it.
Don't you want the best teams possible in there?
Yes, but who did they just because they shot the lights out one time? Now they like deserve.
that's
they're
not-
like,
No, that's not what we're saying.
At all.
that kind of is like to me. It's like what happened last night should have no bearing on like the discussion.
Then why are we talking about anything then? That's like
I
a
just don't-
huge thing that everyone's talking about, and the
Because
team
they-
wins by
because they-
45.
because They beat San Diego State.
They didn't
like,
beat
all of
them.
a sudden
No,
they're
they
like-
shit on down their throat.
yeah, they
and then they're a
destroyed them.
favorite to the next. They're a favorite to a 6 seed.
That was
That's
the
in
best-
the.
That's a big deal.
The best conference there is. The best conference, and they're in the ACC. They come in as a favorite. That's something to talk about. That is something where the SEC is the best. Oh, they're the best. 6 seed Ole Miss. UNC shouldn't get in at all. They're -1.5 as an 11th seed.
But again, that's where
crazy.
it's like they're favorites. That's fine, but they got to play the games.
Of course they
know
do.
that they have to play
know
the
that.
game,
I
but
ju-
we're
I just-
saying that this is a huge thing where they shouldn't have been in, and then they're playing. They played a game, which you just said they won by 45, and then they're playing the best conference. Again, I'm okay with you saying they shouldn't have gotten in. Like that's an argument, but like they also, if they prove it, they beat Ole Miss and then they beat Iowa State. That's proving it to you.
But to me, it doesn't change the like they on merit they did not deserve to be in. Like just because they can make a run doesn't mean they like deserve to be in.
I kind of disagree
St.
with that.
John's-
There's a bunch of teams that could make run that,
like,
that we don't
Give me
know.
the best team that has the best chance of winning the title in there.
No, but like that's not. That's
Well, like,
not
you
how it
just said
works.
like
that's
this,
not
right?
just-
Why?
let's
Why can't that be how it works? Why?
So let's just do whoever the favorites are. Like just put they're just not, let's not even play the games. Just whoever,
No, I'm not saying that at all. No,
Like,
I'm saying you put
what
the
are we
best
talking about?
teams in the field that had the best chance to win. Remember in college football, there was that team that the quarterback got hurt.
Florida State.
Yeah,
Florida State.
and they didn't get in, right?
They did not get in.
Because they didn't have the best chance to win, even though on paper
That's
they
a
had the
completely-
best. It's
that's-
not completely different, Ev. It's the same mentality.
They didn't keep anyone out because their players got hurt.
Yes, they
No.
did. They kept, and it was fucking bullshit. 'cause
Or
it
I guess
happened-
the
it happened December 6th.
But DeVries like that was so early. Like they
Yes.
played the whole season without him.
They have 6
Florida
quad
State
one
was
wins.
way different. He got hurt like 2 weeks.
But
before.
you're also like, why
He's a
shouldn't
quarterback.
West Virginia get punished for losing to Colorado, who was 14-19 in the conference tournament?
Because they didn't
But I-
punish anybody else in the
Yes,
conference
they
tournament.
did though, Dukes.
No,
they definitely did. They punished Michigan for winning.
Did not get, they literally didn't get a higher seed because of the conference
They
tournament.
literally
made the
also
seed-
gave
they
you,
finalized the
but
seeds on
Dukes,
Friday.
fucking, they got UNC in because of the conference tournament. Not everything that everyone says is fucking true. The conference tournaments do matter sometimes. They pick and choose. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, they
UNC,
threw them- they threw
if
them a bone.
UNC ended up losing that game by 15 to Duke, they wouldn't have gotten in. They ended up losing by 2, and I'm telling you that's why they got in. They also, why?
I think Bubba Cunningham they threw him a bone.
Yeah, but that
Well, things
also
can be
goes
true.
into it.
throw him a bone.
Yeah, but if it was down 15, they wouldn't have.
I think they probably would have still.
I mean, you just
Also,
don't know
just
that.
St. John's
You
had
don't
way
know
better
that either.
metrics.
You're
on
saying,
it.
like,
I
you
know,
don't-
but you're just shitting on my theory right there, where it's like you're like that's not what would happen when everything can be true. When you see a couple things come out that no one takes anything in the conference tournaments seriously, they do go in and they definitely take pieces where they want and they don't want. Michigan won the whole thing. They got fucked. Louisville got to the championship. They got fucked, but they took UNC on the bubble, and West Virginia losing to Colorado, which is a bad loss. If West Virginia beats Colorado, they're probably in.
And I think
I would hope so.
And I
Jesus,
think they
I mean,
win.
they
And
should-
Colorado's
regardless.
a bad loss, though.
I think they
That's
win.
a bad loss.
I think
Should have
they
been in
win.
regardless.
I think West Virginia wins last night too. That's probably the most itching thing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's not fair because you don't get to see like what they.
No, yeah,
You
we
don't
have
get
no
to see
idea.
what they would have done.
100%.
I think they probably
But
smoked
like they
San Diego State
did have their chance. Like their chance was there. Colorado is a bad team. It's a bad team.
But North Carolina
North Carolina didn't lose to a bad team. It's just unfortunate. I understand you guys don't think, and they didn't take any conference championship into it. But if UNC lost to one of the shitty, like Georgia Tech or whoever they fucking played, or Wake Forest, they would have got penalized as well.
But you don't see how it's not fair that they pick and choose, like when even in their own conference.
Of course, I know it's true.
But that's the point. Like even what you're saying about Louisville, like they literally pick and choose, and they didn't give them like a higher seed because they're in the ACC. But then they throw like North Carolina bone because they're North Carolina.
Indiana also went unmarked in quad 2, quad 3.
That's what I'm saying. And, like Indiana literally did
Who
not
did Indiana lose to in the Big Ten?
They were 4-13 in quad 1, and then unmarked in quad.
It's also bad.
But I mean,
Like,
much better than North Carolina.
I mean, it's just like we're just it's 4-13, 1-12.
But yeah, one is significantly better.
Three of the quad ones is against the best team in the country. Like that's also goes into it as well. Like what quad ones is it? The best team in the country.
Not all quad ones are equal.
All three of UNC's, 3 of those 12 losses are against the number 1 team in the country. Like that has to go into it too.
But I just think when it
But
comes
how
to
many
teams
times
that
did
throw-
West Virginia lose to Houston?
I have no idea.
They're a number
Probably
1 seed.
twice.
Play once?
Or at least once.
Play once or
obviously.
twice?
At least once, obviously.
That's the danger doing the quads because like not all the quads like quad 1 loss can mean many different things.
Also, Clemmer, you're talking like with the analytics with like Ken Pom, like that the St. John's last year did not have the resume. Everyone said they didn't have the resume. They weren't even a first 4 team out. Analytically, they were a top 20 team in the country.
That's
Virginia had the resume. They were 77th team in the country.
Houston beat West Virginia once.
So even like for example, this year Ohio State has
So there you go. So it's 2 games.
Ohio State has one of the highest net ratings ever in
Yeah,
the tournament. They didn't deserve to make it because they lost a bunch of games.
Yeah.
I always say, even when it hurts me, like when you just lose that many games, it's.
But I think both can be
Ohio
true.
State had where they had like 6 quad 1 wins. Like they had all these big wins.
But did Ohio State, in your heart of hearts, have a better chance of winning the tournament than some other teams that got not got in by tournament wins, but got in by being handpicked? If that's the case, then you should be pissed.
They kind of were similar to North Carolina. They had much better wins. Like Ohio State played a much tougher schedule than North Carolina.
Who has a better chance of winning a title, Ohio State or North Carolina?
I mean, neither. I think
Equal long
Right.
0%
Equal
chance.
long shots.
Probably about equal long shots. Yeah, like I
But
think
one has to have a better chance than the other. That's all I'm saying.
I think because Ohio State showed like the reason like on a given day they could go beat Kentucky by 20 on neutral court.
All right.
Conference,
They also
like,
can, like,
even
they
though
can
if a conference is good or bad, it still has to matter what you do in it. Like Ohio State came in 11th or 10th in the Big Ten. Like UNC was still 4th in the ACC.
But the conference so much deeper.
I
though.
know, but it still has to matter. Like it's not.
But that's where
it's
conference-
also like when you talk about people's schedules or like how the Yankees played in the playoffs. It's like it doesn't. It's not their fault who they play.
No.
So it's like I know it goes into it. It definitely goes into it, of course. But like if you're 11th in your conference, which is I think it's bullshit. Why there's 14 SEC teams got in? You got 6th.
But to Ed's point, you have to take it under consideration though how the Yankees
You
did,
do,
though.
but you also. I don't care how hard. Like your SEC was very hard. I understand that. You won 6 games in your conference. I think that's crazy to get in as a 9 seed.
But that's
when
where
one team won 18. One team won 18 games in their conference and was a 9 seed as well, and an 8 seed or a 9 seed, whatever. And you have Georgia who won 6 in theirs. And
Not all conferences are created equal.
That's where the quad
know,
one thing
but-
comes in. It's not the conference. Like them going 6-12, they beat Florida. Like they beat a bunch of good teams. Like down the stretch, they beat a bunch of good teams.
100%.
Like 6-12 in the SEC is much different than like even going like 10-5 in the ACC.
I think both can be true. I fucking hate UNC. I don't think they should be in at all. But I do think that if they they beat the SEC the next game and the next, I know it's one game, but it's like it kind of justifies it a little bit. If they lose the first game, I don't think it does justify it. I don't think yesterday justified it at all. I think it's a start, but like
It's a pretty big start.
That was the best game they played all year. I
Yeah,
don't know why
100%.
everyone's just diminishing that. Like even
Well, that's what I'm-
game
yes,
score,
thank
game
you.
score wise, they got 100 game score. That's they didn't get anything close.
They
to that
shot.
all year.
I mean, their best player he shot 6 for 6 from 3. They were like 8 for 11. Like they just made a million
Like they were on a
threes.
fuck you tour, which like great, but like if they played like that all season, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
exactly.
right now.
Agreed.
San Diego State win their conference? Is that why they were in there?
Oh.
No,
San Diego State's
So maybe
actually.
that's the bigger question. Why the fuck were they there?
they beat Houston and they played well in the non-con.
Well, they
did-
stunk.
You're
did-
saying they
but
won
also-
one
but also
game.
that's a
It's
resume.
volatile.
Winning
It's
one game.
It's
I know it's one game.
Yeah, but they beat Houston one
basketball is
game
very
too.
volatile.
You're
But that's
saying
why
one game. They beat Houston one game. Like,
Right.
okay, that's one game.
One game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's like we can't.
Basketball's volatile, just a very volatile sport. Especially
Yeah, but that's
It is, it
volatile.
isn't.
Like
definitely
UNC
is.
goes through like.
when you're doing like winner go home
Sure.
tournaments.
But like
It's incredibly
but
volatile.
it is not as look,
They
it's
beat-
not
it's
that
the
It's the most
volatile.
volatile tournament in like big sports that we watch.
It's the biggest tournament we have. It's also
Volatile in terms
no
of
one
the
who's
best team doesn't
no
win.
9 seed or lower has ever won it. So it's not that volatile.
Well,
Yeah,
you
but
just
the
do a
9
cherry
seeds have
pick.
made it.
An 8 seeds won it. You're just
Yeah.
cherry picking like a
No, that's fine. But
an 8 seed.
an 8 seed is won the Stanley Cup, and there's a much smaller playoff.
But that's also like, an 11
smaller
seed could go to the
field.
Final Four, which opens up
Yes.
the door for a 2 seed to win it all. That's why it's volatile.
Correct. It opens it down the road for like when one of these teams goes on a little run, then all of a sudden, for example, like a couple years ago, UNC gets to play like St. Peter's in the Elite Eight, which gives St. Peter's credit. They were 15 seed. They were able to they won 3 games.
Sure.
They probably shouldn't have won. Credit them. They're coaching. They're playing.
The
that
upsets
game.
are awesome.
Get
That's
hot.
what makes March Madness great. But the upsets also are the things we remember. So like you want there's also a ton of times when you're seeing games, number 1 seeds win by 40.
But my point is the volatility of the tournament, it being like a 1-game thing where even in hockey, when it's professional, there's only 30, 32 teams. Like they're all pros. The skill gap between teams, between the first team and the last
Correct.
team is so minimal.
Right.
When the skill gap between Duke and like St. Francis, PA is astronomical.
Right.
Like, and to me, that's
There's
the difference.
things that
That's the
West
difference.
Virginia went 0-2 against the ACC. Like that's also something that I can put into an argument as well, where it's like
What teams? Just for
Pitt and Louisville. Like
Okay.
Pitt's
When?
not in the
Early?
tournament. Yeah, but that's
No, I'm just for context.
Yeah, it's just it was early, but like it's just like there's so many different things that like they kind of fucked up on things too. Where they lost to I think that Colorado thing is literally just the reason
It's
they
not a
didn't
good
get
loss.
it.
Not a good
And
loss.
I'm on your side on that side. I think it's a good discussion what we're having right now, but I do think there's a little justification if they make a run. I don't know how not.
I just think those things don't you can not deserve it and then go on a run. Like those things aren't mutually inclusive. Like both can be true. Like I said, because the gap between all those teams is small. So do I think West Virginia could have went on a run? Do I think Indiana could have went on a run? Sure. If Indiana's in that spot, I'm probably picking them to win that game, and then I'm picking them to win the next game too.
Like didn't
If beating San
what
Diego
if-
State means you should be in the tournament, then you
But that's not.
UNLV.
But again,
congrats.
Dukes, we have not said that.
No, but I'm just
at
saying
all.
that shouldn't be the barometer.
But we're not saying San Diego State is the barometer. We're saying if they go on a run where it's it's to the Elite Eight, that's something where there's a discussion. I'm not saying anything about last night. It's a start. I think that's completely.
I guess in my opinion, going into last night, no matter what happened
Yeah.
in this tournament, it nothing was going to change my mind in terms of what they deserved. What you are capable of and what you deserve are two different things in my
what I
brain.
Yeah, I guess I don't.
San
Fully
Diego
agree.
State. San Diego State took care of conference in the non-con. They did deserve to be in, and even they were on the bubble. They beat. You say what you want about UC San Diego. They beat UC San Diego, Creighton, Houston, all in non-con. Beat Cal.
Yeah, but
ACC
who'd they
school.
lose to in conference?
UNLV, Utah State, Colorado State. But these are again when they took care of business out of conference too. Then it equals out to quad 1, quad 2 games.
Yeah, but
The Mountain West takes care of business in the non-con. That's why they get in every year.
and they suck in the fucking tournament.
Really, besides
but
San
it
Diego
matters.
State.
Oh, I know it matters.
It is a hard
It's also
tournament. too,
they
though, you know what I
always.
mean?
You could until they change what matters to get in. Ken Palm won't be the end all be all. UNC got lucky with a high analytics this year, and probably was the reason why they got into the tournament. St. John's last year got very unlucky.
It's a very tough tournament. I mean, we love McCaffrey. I know that people out there are probably jumping, but he's been around a long time. Had a lot of teams go to a tournament, sometimes highly seeded, no second weekends. And then you look at a guy like Kevin Ollie has a fucking championship ring. Yeah. It's a
Worst
fucking
coach of all.
it's a bizarre tournament. It's very hard. I'm also way more fascinated with the fact that you get a day in between the second of the bigger games. So you play the first round, and then obviously the second round is more important. Day in between.
Yeah.
That's a fucking quick turnaround.
also tell me-
Quick turnaround, man. And then Sweet 16, you're playing the most important game of the season at that point to go to the Final Four on a day prep. It's a fucking wild tournament.
Someone just pointed out something in the chat that's interesting. Ole Miss doesn't have one loss that's not from a tournament team.
Oh, wow. So they just beat up on bad teams.
No, they also
No, they haven't had a bad loss, basically, is what he's saying. They've
Just
only
lost to
only
good
good
SEC
losses.
teams, basically.
Well, and
Or
that-
I guess
everyone says that every team in the
But you
SEC
flip it, though, the same way.
Yeah, they've also beaten
Right?
Colorado.
Am I
beaten
wrong?
good.
Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Going off of tournament teams, then they beat Colorado State, BYU, Louisville, Georgia, Arkansas, Alabama, Texas, Kentucky, Oklahoma,
lot of good
Tennessee,
wins.
Arkansas.
Yeah, it's a lot of good
They're
wins.
6 seed. They should.
So they seem maybe they're a legit. You guys know better
No,
than I do.
I think that
They're good. I mean, they're a good team.
Beard's a phenomenal
and they're a
coach.
great coach.
I think
Beard's a great
UNC
coach.
beats. I really do, and I also think that for tournament's sake, tell me this is not better than West Virginia being in.
Right.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, now that it's unfolded, like the show, of course, like the storyline's incredible.
Even them
Like
getting
Bubba
in
Cunningham-
is
yeah, Bubba
funny.
Cunningham,
Like
this
that
game to, like-
adds to the best part about college, that where you get to argue about these things. Like how many times we argue about Alabama getting into the college playoff when we didn't think they even had a chance. Like it is part of college basketball, and I do understand it's not fair or whatever, but it's fucking awesome.
I think they also kept Indiana out because they were like Woodson's leaving.
Yeah.
No.
All right, something that everybody deserves, or the best way to watch these games. Cosm is the place to be for all of your March college basketball. Catch all the games, cheer on your teams, and watch your bracket come to life at Cosm. Experience the thrill of college basketball in March like never before as you're immersed in every dunk, three-pointer, and buzzer beater. Catch every moment in the hall on Cosm's wall-to-wall LED screen. Every game feed seamlessly synced and displayed in a way that makes following the tournament effortless. Your bracket is set. Now lock in your spot at Cosm. Ev's been there. This is on one of my bucket lists in a way to watch a game to get to Cosm.
No,
I think it's great when you have it. I would do it for a standalone as well. Championship, a Sunday night football, like where that's the biggest ticket in town. Like let me check it out. Head to Cosm.com and get your tickets. That's COSM.com. All right, we're also presented by, and this kind of segues into the next segment, so everyone can give a bold take here. This segment is presented by Evan Williams. Hey, Pick Central listeners, college basketball season is heating up, which means there is no shortage of opportunities to celebrate big wins with Evan Williams Bourbon. As we all know, Evan Williams Bourbon is game day's #1 pour. From rivalry games to championship week to all of the madness in March, nothing pairs better with watching hoops than Evan Williams Bourbon. Each pour of Evan Williams is rich, full of character, and simply done right. Next time you're rooting for a backdoor cover, take Evan Williams Bourbon along for the ride. Visit evanwilliams.com to find a bottle near you. Evan Williams Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, Bardstown, Kentucky, 43 to 45% alcohol volume. Enjoy responsibly, 21 plus. All right, so the bold picks is something I think we should look at in terms of regions. Everyone has their pick who's going to actually win the region. I think as you do this so many years, you look and you're like, yeah, you know what? They had a shot, and I didn't really take a look at them. What would be the longest shot or highest odds bold pick that you have in each region as far as how far down you would go to say they can make a Final Four? Now, I don't expect anybody to take Creighton at 30 to 1 to win the South, but how far down would you go? Dukes, you can pull them up visually if it helps everybody. So in the South, we'll start in the South. Auburn -140. Michigan State +500. Iowa State 8 to 1. A&M 16 to 1. Michigan 19 to 1. Ole Miss 20 to 1. Louisville 22. Marquette 28. UNC 30 and Creighton 30. I meant DraftKings. Where would you? Well, I guess the path helps too. But what would you say in terms would be the longest shot that you think can win it?
Win it?
Can win that region. Can win that region.
Get to the Final Four.
Yeah, how far down can you go? I think you can talk yourself into potentially A&M or Michigan at 16 and 19 would be the furthest I would go.
You can't go to Ole Miss?
I would go down.
I got
because they're the next one on the table there.
Yeah, you know what? Well, I mean, Ole Miss is a dog now in UNC.
Right.
But yeah, I guess if they would get a banged up Iowa State, so I think a lot of people wouldn't want to take Iowa State at 8.
Ole Miss is 20 to 1.
But it always seems like those injuries get overblown and the team ends up doing fine anyway.
I get nervous about that. Well, yeah,
it's like they end up doing okay.
Page,
Houston last year with Shed goes out, they still lose to Duke by 2.
Yeah.
I know that was in game; it's a little bit different how it goes, but I think you could talk yourself into A&M, who's already beat Auburn. Auburn kind of sputtering down the stretch here. Still phenomenal roster. Maybe they just needed a reset of like, hey, it's a bad week. Everyone has had a bad week in the SEC, pretty much, except Florida, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or Tennessee, maybe, but like Alabama had a bad week. Auburn had, and these teams are top seeded, so everybody has a bad week in the SEC. I think Louisville's playing a home game at 22, but I think you really cut the gap at A&M and Michigan at like 16 to 19.
I didn't even feel great about A&M. I think Michigan, like where they fall in the bracket, I think things could break well for them, because I really don't think Yale beating A&M would be like the craziest thing. I don't feel the same way I felt about Auburn a few weeks ago. Maybe we'll see if that changes.
I'm almost turning back onto them because there's a lot. I felt the same way as you. but like their bracket isn't that hard.
They're the 1 seed I trust the least, and I think it's like a
Definitely.
pretty significantly.
I think I agree.
I trust the
I
other
think-
3 1 seeds a lot more.
I feel like everyone would agree with that.
I think it's because I don't love Auburn's defense all the time. Like I think they can. You definitely can score on them. I think Michigan can, just the way like their bracket could break.
Yeah, I think Michigan's where I.
But I actually think this region's like the deep. Like I think the other regions like I won't go as deep.
As deep.
Florida's region again. If you want to do that one next? It's
Yeah, that's Florida is
Marquette
next.
It could break for Marquette as well.
Maybe.
I
like
actually
Michigan
agree
19
with
to
that
1.
as well. Marquette.
Yeah, so our bold take together, I guess, would be Michigan at 19, maybe A&M at 16. A&M did beat Auburn, and Buzz is a good coach. You could flirt me on 2 of those. The West, Florida minus 125, Texas Tech plus 550, St. John's plus 600, Maryland plus 750, Kansas 18 to 1, UConn 20 to 1, Mizzou 22 to 1, Arkansas 50 to 1, Memphis at 55 to 1. How far down this list
What is
would you go?
Is Texas Tech any injuries?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
but
got
they're
some
both
guys banged
healthy.
up.
They're both healthy.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
they're
back.
both gonna play.
Okay, that's big to know. You know what told me something about that? What was Kansas and Arkansas's odds?
Kansas is 18, Arkansas is 50.
That's a what? It shows you a little something, though. Are they playing each other?
Yeah.
And it's
Kind of a toss-up type game.
yeah.
But it's more about when you're talking like Final
Betting.
Four. It's the matchups like down the road.
No, I know, but
Because it's like
usually the
I was
first
looking at
one.
that because Arkansas was the team I was interested in. I think the problem is like they have to get through St. John's and then probably like
Yeah,
Texas Tech.
Texas
Kansas
Tech. Like,
has
that's
this-
a brutal like.
Doesn't Kansas have the same?
No, they would. I just
Would
think,
have
like,
the same
matchup, I
pass,
just think matchup wise, it's like
if Kansas or St. John's made it, I wouldn't like. It'd be like that's a tough ass road. You have to beat if everything goes as planned. You'd have to get by Texas Tech and then Maryland or Florida, and I think that St. John's.
Wait, can you pull that up?
Yeah.
they also are just big. They just bigger dog. They'd be dogs in every game.
That's a brutal. St. John's got fucked.
I think this bracket I love it the most because I love Florida, St. John's, and Texas Tech. Like I wish they all
I'm
were
saying
like.
they all got
If
fucked.
they all were in different regions, I might have fucked around and put them like all in the Final Four.
This is
That,
why-
that was my Final Four.
I
going
think that.
into
And Maryland is a 4. Maryland, and Ryan Hammer's been talking about forever. Maryland's a 4 you respect.
They're talented.
So you
very
could say
talented.
1, 2, 3, 4 here. You hope the chalk holds,
Yes.
and that's a phenomenal doubleheader in the Sweet
Yeah,
16.
for sure.
But like, would you? even-
Texas Tech style matches St. John's as well. you know,
wouldn't
like-
even-
I think they give St. John's trouble. Unfortunately.
yeah.
Kansas or Arkansas beat St. John's, I wouldn't even be that. Like, obviously, I want St. John's to do well, but like, I wouldn't be upset to see both of those teams.
Kansas
How
is
about
also-
UConn? You guys are gonna like. I mean,
I have.
Their defense, listen.
UConn
You don't, it's
stinks.
one of those things. I'm going to look like
you
an
think they
idiot.
have no chance of getting there?
I wouldn't say no chance because of what he's done, but
So that's the only reason.
I just gotta tell you, it's Florida, right?
Yeah, if they beat
Yeah,
Florida, I'd be really surprised.
If they had Auburn, I'd have a more of a. They have a better chance. It's due their defense is just so bad. But again, this is why tournament's the best. It's one game. They could have that one game where they're fucking. Would I be surprised if UConn beat Florida? Actually, I think I would be.
I would.
I would be
I'd
too.
be
I
very
would be.
surprised.
I'd be very surprised. I'm very down on UConn,
Who's the 9 in that bracket?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. That's my.
I'm not in love with.
Experian-
I'm not in love with Oklahoma. But what I will say, it always seems like everybody who thinks the 8 is going to beat the 1, they do have to get past the 9. Maybe, and no one's talking about the 9.
happens a lot.
Go take a look at the 9.
Right.
Jermaine Fears.
9 beats Oklahoma beats UConn. All of a sudden,
I have
and they're in this.
Oklahoma.
They're in the same conference. Oklahoma's played Florida.
I think
So
they
it's
have. Like I think they with Fears. I would argue they might have the best player on the court. Like some would say McNeely maybe. But I really think Fears is like the best player.
Oh, by the way, I think Cooper Flagg's high school team beats Caden them. It's good.
I mean, they had Derek Queen. They had
they're pretty
McNeely.
loaded.
They were. I mean, they're talented as fuck.
They had the Georgia guy, and they had some. It's a good. That's a
Newell,
good
yeah.
high school
No,
team.
so shit.
I think you can.
They had a.
It's literally like the lottery. Like I just like all 4 of those guys are going
Yeah.
in the top. Like
It's
10,
an
15.
unbelievable high school team.
Insane.
They didn't lose a game.
It's almost like
oh really?
Yeah, they didn't
It's gonna
lose.
be cool, like if they do make the NBA, like 5, 6,
They're
8,
all
10 years
gonna-
from now, like kind of see where they are. It's
Yeah,
kinda fun.
they're all going to
There's-
be like a lottery pick, I think.
You guys are too young to remember, but the Fab Five, like when 4 of them made it to the NBA, it was kind of fun to like track their careers.
Yeah, it's definitely cool.
Crab 5.
I think people will flirt with Kansas at 18 and UConn at 20 or even Mizzou at 22. But I think, like, as far down, if we're setting this list, how far do you want to go? I think you can really kind of only go to Maryland at 750.
I kind of agree. I think one of those top 4 is like as far as.
And I think value-wise, I do think Texas Tech is great value at 550 to 1. I'm
I do
sorry,
too.
plus 550. Plus 550.
So can I say
apologize.
one thing about Texas Tech that made me go back?
Yeah.
I am, but not that. The one reason I'm worried about that St. John's or Kansas versus them, their injuries. Like they're not like, I'm not saying like I don't think they're very banged up, but they get injuries piled. So for them to do 5 straight like quick turnarounds in these games makes me a little worried.
That is a good point where it's like yesterday, everyone's like, "Oh, San Diego State's getting their guy back." I think he was in foul trouble in 2 minutes,
It
but
was early.
But like also, you don't know how significant these injuries are if they're coming back to say like they could say they're playing, but these kids are also want to play in it badly.
Of course,
you don't know how bad it's gonna fuck with them. Also, like Duke said, and you. One day after a game, you're playing. You don't have you can have a swollen ankle and then all of a sudden it blows up again and then you're
very fair point.
It's
It's
just
easy
like-
easy to get wrapped up a week in advance and you got to play.
Yeah, it's a lot, definitely because then a lot of people like get excited. Like what I actually do is I'm like, oh, just Texas Tech players coming back. Oh, they're ready. In your head, you're there ready, but you have no idea how they're actually feeling, and the quick turnaround could be fucked. I think Kansas. It can lose in the first round, and I wouldn't be surprised if they beat St. John's. Do you agree?
It depends.
St. John's is a weird matchup.
St. John's, I don't think they match up well with St. John's.
Really?
Because to me, like
because I feel like they're the same team.
they're
They don't
so-
shoot the three well, and
but Kansas doesn't defend like that.
No,
Not
they're
nearly as well as like
definitely St. John's is definitely a better defense.
They both are really good defense.
Kansas does have a good defense.
They do.
Weirdly.
But I think St. John's is better defense, but I think
It does feel like- I think
they're kind of the same fucking team.
How does Texas Tech match up against St. John's?
Pretty well. I think that would be
Yeah.
a rock fight.
Yeah.
Intensity-wise, but St. John's also just way better defense than them.
But do you agree that Kansas kind of is just like they have the big man? Obviously, they have experience. They're pretty old. Kansas.
I just think they're
Like Kansas was the number 1 seed going into the season. Obviously, it didn't turn out
one,
because AJ Storr fucking stinks. But like, what's his name? Mayo can go off. Like, I don't know. I think Kansas is interesting.
Also at Arkansas, like, getting Boogie Flynn back, that's a big like.
Yes.
If he's like 100%.
And again, you don't know. We don't know
That's right,
what
it's
it is.
X factor.
So this is what's weird
When's
too.
the last time he played?
Long time.
a while ago.
That's like your first game back. As
Here's the other-
He said he's been practicing though, and he's like good. Like
Here's-
he's been practicing for a little bit here.
Here's the other stat to remember. I think Boogie's phenomenal. McDonald's All-American, Stepinac High School, phenomenal guard. Arkansas was 0-5 in SEC play with him.
Yeah.
Fair point. It's a fair point.
And they're also
Riggs
getting-
was like, they
been
don't
getting
really
good with
work
it.
together.
Yeah, they could just not work.
Yeah,
I really wonder how much
because they got Davis, right? Dukes, that's their other guard, Janelle Davis. So they don't really.
Riggs
Riggs
would
was,
probably come off the bench, right?
yeah, Riggs was like they don't
think
work
so.
well together. So
Yeah, they might not. Like that's the thing. Also, when you're this deep into the season, you know your rotations, you know like how everything works, and then you add a new one, it could fuck things up.
Yeah, I wonder. Also, something I saw.
St. John's minus 3.3
Cal is a dog in the tournament. Has been very good.
The line would be -3.
or around there.
3.5.
Obviously, like it
It
depends.
makes
on-
sense.
That's like his calculation.
It makes
Yeah,
sense.
so
I
have
think so.
Kansas going to the Sweet 16. But it's definitely a little biased. But also, I do think the matchups for them are good for Arkansas and St. John's.
I just trust St. John's dudes more.
I agree too. I
love their guard
do.
play.
Yeah,
Like having 3 guards you can trust is huge.
And they all just bring such different elements.
The only
I
thing
like
that's
their bench.
like, I've been waiting for it, but like they just can't shoot the 3. But then they don't shoot the 3, and then still score like 90 points and win. It's crazy.
That's my
Because
thing. Like they don't need
rebound
to.
really.
Like,
They're unbelievable rebounds.
if they could go on if they somehow like had a run of like actually knocking down threes, I mean, they could win the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now that's a massive if, but just I think their ability, like I've said, if you can just hang your hat on defense, like you can bring. Listen, if Kansas say they end up matching with Kansas or any team, and they go and just like shoot the lights up, but they just make it so tough on you. They have to earn everything.
There's a lot of this too, where like a team like St. John's, all the hype getting, and they win the conference championship out first weekend. Like that happens a ton.
yeah.
Auburn last year,
Yeah.
won the SEC out in the first round. It's crazy. I know it's a 4.
it's
They were
true,
a
it's
4 and
true.
a 4 and a 2. 2 is they're not going to lose to a 15 seed.
They're not gonna lose Omaha, but if
hope
they
not.
lost like second round, it wouldn't be like the craziest.
What I know you got fucked. What teams did you guys get for Experian Busters?
We got Troy, Vibs and I.
Troy.
We're Troy boys.
Okay, you got fucked too, right?
No, I wouldn't say fucked. It's because it worked out content-wise. I got a very late pick. I got Omaha, who goes up against St. John's to open the thing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, but I meant, I got
Omaha.
Late pick.
I'm rooting for Omaha.
them.
Yeah?
I-
Good story.
I've seen like a lot of
I
people.
have seen a lot of that too, dude.
They're good.
get the trash
fun teams.
cans.
They're not.
Yeah.
Trash
they're-
cans.
They're definitely not going to fucking.
Remember the
do
guy?
They've scored. I will say
the guy
this.
that came from St. Peter's.
Shout out Jordan. No, from Fairleigh Dickinson.
Fairleigh Dickinson.
It's
That's
Fairleigh
son-off.
Dickinson.
Good
Yeah,
guy.
I texted him about a little bit too. He's at Omaha now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
good guy. That guy, he might be magic.
He might
Everywhere
be.
he goes, they just win the conference
Yeah,
tournament. Shout out Jordan
seriously.
Sarnoff. Good kid.
One
Good
thing I
guy.
really want to quickly say.
They
about
have
St.
scored
John's-
80 17 times. Now, do you think St. John's defense will squish that, and they haven't seen a team like this? For sure. But if St. John's can't score, has a really bad scoring night, and it gets ugly, like an Omaha
Yeah,
team
you
who
never
has
know.
scored 80, you never know. So
I
that's
also have. I got Oklahoma.
I don't like this. It's just that you have to beat Florida in the second
Yeah,
round.
no, it's not. It was Oklahoma or Grand Canyon.
I think
I
people
asked for
are, I
Either
do
I
think
we're not like.
I got late pick. We all
You
got
love
pretty
Grand
late
Canyon.
pick.
I mean, I was literally Mr. I
last.
didn't even have choice.
Yeah, you were last. I had a late.
You
We
guys
had a later
You
pick.
picked decently early, kind of.
No, we were in like the last third.
Or because I just there was
Bad
something
luck on
I
this
just
fucking
remember when
squad.
you picked there was like a few that I liked that you didn't take.
We didn't take Grand Canyon. We
I
could've
think
taken them.
people are. I don't
I
think.
probably would have preferred.
I don't know how far Grand Canyon
Troy.
can make it. I don't think they can make it to a Sweet 16. But weirdly, I do think they can win that game. I feel like it's
think
always
they
it always
can.
seems like the upset that no one's talking about. No one is talking about Grand Canyon.
Also, if you
Pulled
want
one last year, like so maybe people are like, oh, they got it last year. They won't do it back to back. They're a good fucking team. We'll get to that in breakout
so if you want
players.
to talk about
Chad
just
wants to know how you feel about Dave and Gruden having Robert Morris versus Alabama.
Yeah, it's perfect content.
It's
like
another
it's
obstacle
it's
in your
another.
path.
obstacle
You think
for
you'd
sure.
cry if they lost to that team?
Probably?
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Crash
knowing
out.
because it's
Crash
more. Yeah,
Bus too.
yeah.
What would hurt more,
my
losing
God.
in the first round or losing to Duke?
That's a good question.
Because you're on the doorstep.
Duke would hurt. No, you don't want to lose in the first round though. But that's bad for your guy Nate Oates.
I think it hurts even more if you're on the doorstep.
Oh, don't tell Nate
I
Oates
really
that.
do.
I don't know. I kind of agree.
I really do.
Obviously you don't want to lose to the 15 seed, but
Oh.
you're right there. You're just You're 40 minutes away from getting like that's his dream weekend. Dream.
I think that knocking on the doorstep hurts even more.
Yeah, at least you knew quick. It's quick
there's
death.
it hurts more. The first one's just way more embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
Right, but
But
that's
as someone who
Yeah, but it's
Ohio
two-
State
yeah.
a few years ago, we lost as a two.
right, but it's two
to
different.
Oral
Yeah, it's two
Roberts.
different
That was-
answers. Which one's
that
more
was
embarrassing?
devastating.
Which one would you eat more shit for? It would be the first round.
Yes.
Yeah,
easily.
But I
Still
do
get-
think
I still
after
get
I think that's
texts about
easier to
Lehigh.
I do think that's easier to overcome than losing in the Elite Eight because you're right there with the stakes of what's
Yeah.
on the line.
I think you could plan out your bus trip.
In any other normal tournament, the 15 one, the first round I would say is way worse.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
But with the stakes on the line, like this one's.
I will say, Rhea and Fran got my number one pick, VCU.
That was my number one pick
I
too.
I have a problem in my bracket with VCU.
Could I
Problem.
say something about St. John's too? We're talking about Kansas defense versus St. John's. St. John's will make you noticeably uncomfortable, like a Houston defense where you just notice it like from right off the eye. They make you uncomfortable and get you off your tracks, which like I think will play into St. John's' favor more.
Who are you saying that against? St. John's against who?
Kansas, like Kansas has a really good defense. Kansas doesn't make you like uncomfortable.
The Kansas defense doesn't make you uncomfortable.
He's saying St.
That's fair. But on the counterpoint, I do think Kansas plays against a bunch of defenses in that conference.
Yeah.
That would make that have already made them uncomfortable, and they've been through it.
They also
It doesn't mean they're going to win and succeed.
But they also blew it
But,
against
like-
Houston, who has the best,
Right.
like the second best defense or best
Right.
defense.
I
Like,
mean, they
they're-
had Houston.
they beat Houston in my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
I think that it's a good. I think both are good points. I also think that experience does matter, and Kansas does have that.
So does
Yeah.
St. John's.
Right.
I know. I'm just saying, like the experience, like when you get pressured, like they've gone through that as well. I think it's just a really good game.
Yeah.
I hope it's them too. I don't want. I'm not a big Arkansas guy.
Cal versus Patino would be fun though.
It would be a good storyline.
Ours
Everybody
people would be
likes.
good.
It'd be great.
Honestly, either one is a good storyline.
I want Omaha to win.
Yeah,
Great song by Counting Crows.
Omaha.
Rick Pitino, bad guy. That's easy one.
East, Duke minus 120, Alabama plus 450, Wisconsin plus 850, Arizona plus 950, BYU 15-1. St. Mary's 18-1. Oregon 22-1. Baylor 35-1. VCU 40-1. I think 3-Point Sniper threw VCU out there as a ultra long shot at 41. So he thinks that's the deepest you can go.
That's a good. Just
I
like you
think
can.
so, too.
I actually do agree. I don't think they're going to beat Duke, but I do think like.
If Duke gets knocked out early, Marty, sorry, but like if they lose to like an Oregon or the Arizona right there,
Does that open the door for VCU?
like
No, it definitely
I
does.
think VCU
Yeah.
VCU then has
Even though they got to get through Alabama?
Look,
Alabama's volatile. Like I think they're
say
more
what you
volatile
want-
than
say
like a
what
Duke.
you want about Bama could beat VCU by 25.
Sure.
The spread's going to be about 5.
Yes.
It only be that's it, huh?
Yeah.
VCU.
I'd be shocked if it was over 6.
You want to talk about a team? So if we're going to knock, so this is where it would have gotten interesting. I know we're not going back to the thing, but if VCU, because VCU didn't take care of business non-conference. In conference, they kicked the shit out of teams. Not just like beat like pretty good teams, kick the shit out of them. And their analytics all season have been like top 30. So if they didn't win, they were going to be sitting at like 6 or 7 losses and probably wouldn't have been in the tournament with top 30 analytics. Like this is a really good team that should have been in the tournament. If they didn't win their conference tournament, they probably wouldn't have been in.
Huh. Okay.
Talented team too, really talented. They got a lot of good
And old.
Yeah, old, like veteran, like
Athletic.
they fit that. They can defend really well. They have legit like NBA guys. Like they fit the mold of a team that can make a run like that.
I
Create
truly
offense
think
off
the only
turnovers.
team they can't beat in that, like I'm not even being a homer, I think is Duke. Like
I kind of agree, to be
I
honest.
think every other team they have a chance, like a
I do,
good
too.
chance against.
I think
We're
them
saying
was-
for a bold pick, 40-1 there, VCU.
It's a bold
VCU
pick.
would be very
Listen,
bold.
I just don't think they'll do it because I really think Duke's is good.
I actually think we talked about it yesterday, but I do think I think Oregon could lose in the first round, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I think the stabs you're looking at in the terms of deep in that bracket, because it also always seems like everybody has Duke going through. Now, they deserve to be picked in a majority of brackets. They've been phenomenal. They have a terrific player. They have a few terrific players.
Also minus money to get it.
Right. But it does seem like that's the bracket that does blow up out of nowhere. So if you are looking for long shots or you're thinking contrarian, Arizona's already seen them at 9.5 to 1. And I think Oregon, like you have Dana Altman, 22 to 1. Like Oregon they don't do well in the Big Ten. They had a bad stretch in the Big Ten for a while, like not great in that league. Finished 8 in the Big Ten, something like that, 7, 8, whatever they were. But man, Dana Altman can get going, and Oregon does seem to rise to the competition in terms of big games. 22, I think, is worth a stab. It's not something I predict to win, but bold takes and things like that, those would be the flyers I would go. St. Mary's at 18 to 1 over Oregon fascinates me. Fascinates me that's the way they've priced this. Fascinates me.
What was that?
Can't.
Why is St. Mary's at 18 to 1 and Oregon's at 22 to 1?
Fuck St.
Because they also
Mary's.
have an easier way.
You think St. Mary's has an easier way?
Like technically, yeah. Like if you get that bottom of the bracket, I know you
it's
like
soft,
Bama, and
dude.
you're like Bama's very beatable. We know we're Bama.
Contrasting styles, I could see that, but
I don't like St. Mary's hit by Vandy.
Our bracket's pretty soft. I think Vandy's going to beat them as well. But our bracket, our side, I actually think my top is harder than your. I think the bottom's pretty soft.
I think you have an easier route
Worries
to the
me.
Elite Eight than Duke does.
worries me.
Yes, I think Alabama has an easier route to the Elite Eight
I know we
than
were just
Duke.
talking about,
Like
like,
Duke
VCU
having to
and stuff,
play,
but, like-
Duke potentially having to play Baylor and Arizona before, like to get to the Final Four. That's not an easiest road.
Or Baylor and
Nah,
Oregon.
I'm happy
you
with
shouldn't
it.
you shouldn't be worried about Baylor at all.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like I think
Mississippi State.
or could
know
or
what?
We're just
Mississippi
right off
State.
Mississippi State.
Toughest league,
I think
some
they're gonna
big
win. I think
guys.
Mississippi's gonna beat
Hubbard can
Baylor.
shoot.
No, yeah.
Hubbard's a stud.
I just have a Duke, Jeremy Roach, Caleb Love thing happening in my head. That's the only reason why. But Mississippi State can 1,000%.
I actually bet them already to win.
Baylor's a really weird team. They've been injured though, so like it's like, and I think they're
Yeah, Langston
back.
Love has come back, I think.
Yeah, Roach was out for a while too. It's just
Scott, obviously, Drew's a great coach.
yeah. No, I do think that bracket's not the hardest thing in the world.
Midwest, Houston plus 105. Tennessee plus 390. Gonzaga at 950. Kentucky.
They have the third best odds, and they're a
Best
9
odds.
That's
or an 8.
insane.
That's the metrics.
They're an
Love.
8.
They're
I
going to
think
get
Georgia's
priced
going
like
to
that.
beat them.
Really?
I bet Georgia plus 6.5 already. When that number,
I think the
saw
numbers-
that number and couldn't have bet it faster. I was like,
That's a good number, but I don't know if they beat them. I mean, they could.
I think they give them a run. I really, they're the ultimate like. the analytics just jerk them off.
Yeah.
Like saying their top 10 team is insane to me. They're not a top 10 team.
I think they're really good.
I agree.
They're just
with you,
not.
Ev.
They're just not that.
Ev, I agree.
They're like a fine team.
Like how are they?
And they beat Georgia. Like sure, I think they
you
can.
could say they're really good dudes, but you think they're a top 10 team?
I do.
I mean, they played
like,
in a really
it's
bad conference
like,
too, and they lost. They usually never lose a game, and
Lost
this
St.
year
Mary's twice.
Dude, I don't know what it is. It's just kind of like not like they own them when it counts, but like it's just kind of like the boogeyman.
I hope they
St.
both
Mary's is a
lose
really
so
really
bad.
well coached team, but like Gonzaga's built for the more out of WCC play.
Right.
I don't
Yes,
think
for sure.
I don't think St. Mary's is. St. Mary's is like roster construction is to beat Gonzaga. It's not to win in the tournament.
Right.
I agree. I would agree with that. I think Gonzaga has a better chance than St. Mary's for sure.
definitely.
Like I have no like. I think a couple of the early season losses that Gonzaga also had, like a couple of overtime losses, like obviously some bad ones, but like they kind of found their way. I love Braden Huff and Graham Icky, your guy,
Yep.
and I also think that Nembhard's kind of playing his best ball right now.
I think he's averaging close to 10 fucking assists a game from what I've heard.
I miss Icky at Wyoming.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah, they had
What was that guard?
Maldonado.
They had a couple guards that were really,
They had a really good
I
team.
would have actually put Gonzaga straight to the Sweet 16 in any other seeding if it wasn't for Houston.
Wyoming got into the play-in game that year, right, and lost to Indiana.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Kentucky 10-1, Purdue 13-1, Clemson 14-1. Illinois is intriguing at 15-1. If maybe they could put it together for a week, they do have a ton of talent. UCLA at 28-1, and Georgia at 35-1.
Where's McNeese?
McNeese is the 9.
I didn't write them down. I wrote down the top 9.
Where's they were out?
No, they're not out, but
No. I'm saying like they were way.
McNeese is
down,
plus
yeah.
9,000.
I wasn't against you. All right,
Oh,
slow
way
it
down.
Slow it down there. You're getting ready for the
90-1.
weekend.
90-1. I don't really know where you go here in terms of like long shots because I've just loved
Houston?
Houston.
I
Yeah,
have two others besides, and I love Houston.
I do think Tennessee's
I have
style.
I have them losing early.
I know, but if they do get to that Elite Eight game against Houston, that could be a rock fight type
That's a
game too.
huge what if though to Elite Eight?
Granted, but yeah, all right.
I think-
I mean, you're looking for long shots.
Xavier.
My long shot's UCLA.
Xavier I fucking love.
You gotta wait, right?
Yeah,
Well,
we gotta
just the
wait.
winner. I think the winner of that game has a shot to make a run. I just don't think the winner of that game can beat Houston.
I'm not in love with
I think
Illinois,
the winner
I'm
of
not in
that
love with
game
Kentucky,
has.
I'm not in love with UCLA. I'm not in love with Tennessee.
I agree with Duke.
And I also want to say that I also think the winner. I don't think Georgia. I think Clemson would beat Georgia, but I do think Gonzaga, if they somehow beat Houston, is so alive,
Gonzaga.
very alive.
Against Houston?
If they beat Houston,
I think they have no chance.
if they
against
beat,
Houston.
I don't think they're beating Houston, but that's going to be a small spread.
I don't think it'll be. What do you think it'll be? Like 5, 6?
I'm thinking 5.5, maybe close to 4.5.
Yeah, I could see that. I just
Like everyone hammering.
I could see that, especially because obviously the odds maker analytics people love Gonzaga, so obviously they're rated well. I could see Xavier, Texas winner making a run. I don't know about I just don't think they can beat Houston, but they're a team that I think could make like a Sweet 16, Elite 8 run.
playing their
whoever
best
wins that
ball.
game.
Fremantle's back.
Xavier especially, yeah. Xavier I think really can make a
Xavier
run.
beating, and they have. I think they might have the best coach in the bottom side of the bracket.
I don't know the.
Like, I think
What's
he's
the-
better than. I'd take Sean Miller over Cronin. I'd take him over Rick Barnes. I know
Yeah.
Cronin got through, but if you want to talk about like making Sweet 16s, Elite 8s, like Sean Miller sustained success at
Yeah,
doing
no, he
that.
definitely has.
So all I'm asking
You're
for
not
is
going
a
to
shot
get
in
me
the Elite
saying
8.
Rick Barnes is a good coach, so I'm
What?
good. You're not going to get me saying Rick Barnes is a good coach, so I'm okay
Yeah,
with that.
he's a good coach. He's consistent. Like,
I know it's the other half. I think Clemson making like an Elite 8 run wouldn't shock me.
nope.
Big Scott Cross fan.
I think Clemson's first game is where they just got to get past them. Who do they play second?
Oh,
Purdue, High
like,
Point. I think
which
it's-
I think that
Yeah, like I think
they win.
Clemson
I think they beat either of
beats
them.
Purdue, High Point,
Yes.
either one. But I
Right.
think McNeese is the one they just got to get
I mean,
past.
I'm fascinated with McNeese because the conference they play in is so bad.
But they also
they run through it.
but they also,
and then
like-
last year they were sexy pick and they got dominated.
yes, and they're not as sexy. They're sexy again, but they're not as sexy.
I think
as
people are
last
like
year.
they pump the brakes.
They're
on
like
them.
they keep losing with him, so it's like. But that's why I think I do like them this year.
I took him with the points, but
I did
Clemson's
too.
good, so it's tough.
Any
Hunter's injury is kind of like I think that's big for them.
Yeah. Any breakout players from mid majors that you think could be having like a Jack Golke type moment? I wrote down the kid Jiffa from High Point or Giffa from High Point, unbelievable guard, and then Tyon Grant Foster at GCU is a phenomenal player. I could see him stealing one from Merrill. I do think it's one of those, like, ask 100 people and everybody seems to be like, give me Drake, give me UC San Diego, give me this one, give me that one. Doesn't seem like anybody's picking Grand Canyon. That's just all I'm going to say. I think Maryland's fantastic. I just don't think nobody picked Oakland last year. Like, nobody picked St. Peter's the year before, 2 years before, whatever it was. It does seem like somebody goes and steals one, and you want to be the quiet, kept secret. I do think GCU is a little live in that game. I really do.
I do too. There's a couple. I think the one who I think, especially if they beat Memphis, he will be Clifford.
Yep.
He's unreal. He's a legit like NBA guy. Really.
People are gonna love the Wofford guy doing the
underhand free throws. Also, the Greek kid from Yale. I'm assuming he's Greek. It's a Greek-ass last name. It's something.
Okay, something like that. Yes.
He's a lefty three-point shooter that just like lights it up. Like, that's the kind of kid that they go beat A&M. He makes like 7 threes. Like, he's had a great season. He's one of the best players.
Do you think people would be mad if there's not a huge upset early?
I think it's going to happen.
You think that's going to happen?
Hasn't it the last like 20?
I think it's set up perfectly this year where there'll be like probably like an upset, and it's going to be so funny when people shit on the SEC when like the SEC is going to be in like every 8-9 game, and it's going to be like, wow, they lost 3 games.
I can't.
Well, just a reminder, the SEC does have to lose 13 games in this tournament.
Yes.
Just FYI.
Yeah.
I know. And
They have to take 13 losses. It's a matter of how many wins do they get. You also should almost, I don't want to say cancel out, but like put a little asterisk if who's Oklahoma got?
UConn.
Right. Oklahoma
They're an
wins.
underdog.
Oklahoma plays Florida in the second round. You shouldn't penalize Oklahoma for losing in the round that they should have gotten to when it's against another SEC team. You get what I'm saying?
Won it. I don't think they would.
Yeah, I know, but the story,
But like if they all lose early, like obviously not the ones, but like if like an Ole Miss loses and then you got Oklahoma and a Georgia loses, I'm making fun of them.
Right.
Where it's like, they have the best. Because it's the same thing. The past 2 years though, like the ACC had the same thing. They suck, and then they had Miami and then NC State in the Final Four. It doesn't mean that the ACC is a better conference. It's just like that's why it doesn't really matter.
You just have to avoid like SEC did not. You just got to avoid like the big upsets. Like Oklahoma losing to UConn, like they're literally underdogs.
Supposed to,
but you just can't have like the big, like you can't have like Auburn losing the second round. You can't have like
Florida.
You can't have like
Kentucky,
like Florida
Alabama,
in the second round.
Tennessee.
You can't have like Kentucky lose to Troy. Like
Well, you can. You probably can.
I'm actually getting a little high. I was down on that. I'm getting higher on Kentucky.
Well, it's not.
I just don't love the matchup for Troy, but I don't believe in Kentucky like long term.
They're healthy though now, right?
No.
Lamont, but his shoulder, it's still like kind of.
Is he playing?
Kirk Kreese,
He is, but they say it's not like.
I don't care about him. He's
Am I the only
I'm the only
Troy boy on this
I just
on the
don't
show?
think they have that much depth at this point.
There's no other Troy boy on the show.
No,
I'm the
I
only
do
one.
like Troy. I think Troy could
You're
win.
the only Troy boy.
That's awful.
I think Troy
just
can
don't
win.
love the match.
Thank you, Duke. So you're a Troy boy?
We're going off players that I think could be breakout stars. Troy has one of them.
Just for the record, if the seeds do hold,
Tate
now
and Connor.
obviously things can change where Ole Miss could then be favored in the second round playing Lipscomb. But per seeds right now, if the seeds hold, the SEC is only supposed to get 5 teams in the Sweet 16 for what it's worth. If the entire tournament went chalk. Now, again, Ev, things change. And
You said that's them knocking like you already like Florida if they. Or I guess if seeds hold, Oklahoma wouldn't make it.
If seeds hold, it's by the way it should be. It should be Auburn, A&M, Florida.
Tennessee,
3.
Tennessee,
Alabama, and that's it. And that's your 5.
But I guess that makes sense. Like if you get 5 out of the 16.
seeds, right? So so if they get 2 into the Sweet 16, massive failure.
Probably, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
That's a huge failure.
Yeah.
Huge failure.
Definitely.
So keep an eye on
You got a
that.
14?
5. Yeah, they're supposed to get 5.
See, what they need, like they need like an Arkansas, something like that, to like sneak in the back door.
Yeah.
What could be tricky is that they're guaranteed. There could be a world where they could live in a world where they could at least 2 bids guaranteed in Florida, Oklahoma, and Vanderbilt, Alabama. So 2 might be baked in. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Where they're at. So it is what it is.
You get a
but-
couple first-round ups.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Can I give two more players, I think?
Yeah, sure.
Max Schulger, I've said him before.
Yep,
VCU.
VCU.
I think UC San Diego has two. Hayden Gray.
Yeah.
I think he might lead the country in steals. Also a sniper from 3. He has that look to him. Like if he goes off against Michigan and he's a killer, he's gonna be like that.
He's got that white boy.
I could see him tongue out. Literally looks like he works here.
No, he's
looks
frat
like he plays
boy.
for the
Yeah,
Barstool Sports team.
100%. 100%. You got like floppy, like lighter hair.
And then I don't want to Tate Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in a
But
position.
I'm more Hayden
yeah.
Gray. Like I see him 3-pointer slow mo,
Yeah.
on True TV, like tongue out.
I'm in a position where I hope I do well during the day, and then I think Michigan could. It's very late in the night. I think Michigan could be a bomb late. Like whatever you're up, Michigan at night. That's where I'm positioning myself. So we'll see. They just cooked up a
If you
parlay.
bomb, I think I'm going to bomb the opposite way. Let's
All
just
right.
go bombs.
That's not nice.
No,
Bombs away?
wait, don't take that personally. You've been
You
on
should.
Michigan. I said I want
Yeah.
to see San Diego. If we're going bomb off, I'll go bomb off.
Bomb off. They did cook up a parlay for Thursday for me. It's moved the lines a couple different ways. Tennessee minus 9.5 against Wofford. Alabama minus 19.5 against Robert Morris.
Tennessee's only minus 9.5.
I don't know.
No, it's
move the line.
adjusted. They're like 18,
Oh,
like an
the
18
line.
or 19 and a half. I think.
Jesus, I was like, what the fuck happened?
I did basketball numbers.
Okay.
It's not football numbers. They're basketball numbers, which mean nothing because there are no basketball numbers.
Nothing at all.
Michigan to win. Michigan to win, and SIU Edwardsville under 50.5 points. It's plus 398. Clemmer, what do you got tonight?
Before we do that, I just want to talk baseball real quick because I know everyone's watching the game this morning too. Justin Steele got rocked, and it's concerning. He's been getting hit pretty hard in spring training. That pick I gave out yesterday did hit. It's
Concerning. Like, it's in Japan, first game. I think we could slow it down a little bit.
well, he just also
Concerning's a little bit.
Well, no. Well, the other reason I say that, Marty, is he's been getting hit really hard in spring training.
Pitched
too.
9 innings, like you said.
Yeah. So now we have.
I think.
And remember, this is a
track
lineup
record-
without Freddie Freeman and without Mookie Betts.
One, you have to, again, he's in a different country. That's a huge. Tell me that's something.
They're all in different countries, Marty. So are the hitters.
What?
The hitters he's facing
I
are also in
understand,
different.
but it's a different atmosphere.
Okay.
Also, what do you mean? Okay.
I mean,
concerning is a little
I'm a
much
little
for
concerned. I'm-
one game that he pitched, where it's like he had a bad game. Yes, the past 3 years has not shown any concern of him having about a 2.9 to a 3.1 ERA.
Fantastic. He still
3
should be a
years.
dark horse Cy Young candidate, but I'm just saying, the beginnings of concern.
That's okay. You could say beginnings. I think concern is a little much for also against, like, I know the Betts, and it's still, without them too, it's still one of the best lineups.
Other big thing to take away from the game.
Also, Edmonds like the best player.
yeah,
He really is.
He's very good. Roki Sasaki, interesting start. His
Piece of shit.
command was all over the place.
Horrible.
He walked 5 guys, including walking 1 guy in, but only gave up 1 hit. But I don't know, Ev. Do you agree? His location was really bad.
I mean, honestly, him and Steele, he was worse, but him and Steele both just like struggle with command.
Yeah.
Even Steele, like obviously, like who was it? Was it Kiki that hit the home run? Or
Yeah.
he like
And Shohei also that come on, it shouldn't have been a home
Didn't
run.
hit a home
Shohei
run.
won. I was glad because I wanted to get to that.
We all agree it's fan interference.
That was
Yes.
like the most like that review was so fucking fast. I was like cackling in my bed. I was like, I knew I bet the Cubs. I was like, who cares? Like they lost, whatever. I knew they were gonna lose once we were that deep in the game, but. Just watching the replay where the guy's whole arms are fucking extended over the wall, and they reviewed that thing for like 3 seconds. They threw the earpiece in. It was like, all right, yep, home run.
Yeah,
sounds
and,
good.
and it was so clearly not a home run. It was very bizarre.
Not even close. to it. It was crazy.
Cubs wrote the blog. It's like if Andy Pa has hits that, don't even do a review. It's like get on second base and
Yeah,
stay
they
there.
wanted Shohei to hit a home run in Japan.
Shohei just-
crazy. What are we doing here, guys?
Just was rounding the bases, and I was like, "Wait, what are we doing?" I was
Shohei
like,
didn't think
"I'm
it
like
was
looking
going.
around. I'm like, what's going on?" I was
It
like, "We're
wasn't a home run.
just not a home run. They just like home run." Sounds
And the last takeaway is that Dodgers bullpen is terrifying. Kirby Yates and Alex Vesia pitched the last 2 innings. Those guys didn't even pitch yesterday when they had 4 innings of no-hit baseball. This Dodgers team is terrifying and should scare the hell out of other NL teams. I know, like, I'm a Mets fan. Like, I think the Mets have a really good team this year. I'm terrified of the
I
Dodgers.
read something about them today. If someone was like, what was it, 2 years ago? When did they lose in the NLDS?
2022.
2
No,
years ago.
2023 and
So 2
2022.
years
2
ago.
years ago, yeah.
So 2 years ago, I think people were like, they spend $1 billion they like this is embarrassing for them. And then 2 years later, people are saying they've ruined baseball.
I know.
It's so funny where that's
Yeah,
like
Ohtani, that's-
they go back and not even
Not just
Ohtani.
But the
Ohtani, you
Ohtani
got
contract
Snell,
is
buddy.
Last now.
Broke it, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like
Ohtani was the first
Sasaki,
one.
Yamamoto.
Yeah, it's not even like listen. Them getting Ohtani was actually. I was like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. But then when they got everybody else on, like getting Snell was like, and then getting the top Japanese pitcher again.
Even like Kirby Yates. Like, he's a really good reliever. They just got him at the end of the
They also got like
everybody.
Yamamoto too, and then Sasaki. It's just like. What? and then Snell, and then
And they got Glass now as
last
last year. It's
every
like,
like
geez.
they're not like mid names that just become good. It's like
when they got Snell, I threw my hands in the air. I'm like, all right, I don't know.
But the deferred money is what's like really broken this thing open. That's like in terms of
especially
like,
especially
you
in
don't have to pay the
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
they wouldn't
well,
have
it's
to pay
also a
the luxury
unicorn-
tax they would be paying.
it's also a
Or the whatever
unicorn-
they're called in baseball. the,
Right?
like,
No, no,
situation, too.
it matters.
luxury,
Like
the
because it's
crazy
based on the
taxes.
value of the contract. When you have the deferred money, the value is less. You're absolutely right, Ev. It is.
it's a
they-
unicorn
they've
situation
broken it
because
where-
no one else can do that.
But other players, though, are now the Dodgers are such an attractive place. Other players are taking deferred deals to go there. Not to the extent of Shohei, for sure.
Yeah.
But to Ed's point, that
Shohei's
even
the only one that can do that.
Yes.
Like no one else is that well off the field than him
correct.
because he's got a whole fucking
So
country.
also most people are like, I want my money now. Not even like obviously most guys like even like a example like a Soto, like he wasn't looking for scrounging for his next meal before this contract.
Right.
No.
He's like, fuck you, pay me.
Shohei makes more money.
I'm like
But
dying
Soto
in 10
doesn't
years. I
have
want my money now.
Yeah, but Soto doesn't have like millions.
No, of course,
off
of
where it's like
course,
that's
of
where I'm
course.
it's so frustrating with Ohtani because he can never play baseball again and be so rich.
Did you see the ratings from Game 1? Game 1 averaged more than 25 million viewers across all platforms, making it the most watched MLB game ever in Japan.
Crazy.
Do you think we could ever have any baseball game regular season where 25 million Americans are going to watch it?
No.
Nope.
Zero chance.
Not even close.
Yeah. I mean, Yankees Dodgers like game.
How
7
many
doesn't
watched the
come close.
McGuire home run? I wonder back in '98. Which I'm going way back for, but like trying to think of another regular season
Obviously,
game that was like that.
Let's say someone's chasing Bonds and then
I
number
know.
73 and
I
all the
know.
games are on ESPN. Maybe.
That's what would have to happen.
But like,
I don't even think
ESPN,
then.
fuck ESPN. ESPN.
I don't even think then because
Fuck them. I'm mad at them.
I don't know. I just don't know.
Thank you, Fox.
It just doesn't carry enough juice like nationally. I feel like to do
like-
that.
Well, nothing does except football.
That's what I'm saying. Like I just don't think any. Yeah, I don't see it.
Just a different media landscape now.
Also, they are very like the culture in Japan is very like fanatic. Like when these guys get off the plane, like if Shohei Ohtani took a plane there, there's gonna be thousands of people probably there just waiting to see him get off.
You mix in, Shota, who pitched in that game.
Yeah.
Suzuki, who's on the Cubs lineup. Like you mix in the other guys, like oh shit.
It's even like when like the Yankees signed like Tanaka was a massive.
Oh, huge.
Massive stuff.
And, and even before that, you guys had Matsui.
Yeah, I mean of course, Godzilla.
Clover, you got a pick?
Oh yeah, I do. I'm sorry. Let me pull it up here. I was all excited about the baseball game. I have kind of a bold pick here. I'm on Texas money line plus 140.
Okay.
Texas has been playing really good.
That's what I
think
looked
it's
at.
a really, really good game tonight. I think I like Xavier, but I think I don't know what I want on that line yet.
Ev.
Yeah, I'm also. I think I'm gonna take Texas. I'm not. I'm gonna be on American. I think I'm pretty like set on that.
On American.
I think so. Yeah, I haven't locked in. I've been so back and forth in this Texas Xavier game because I think Xavier is a better team, but I think like Trey Johnson's the kind of guy that's a guy that could be like a star if they were able to win this game. He has like win another game. Trey Johnson's a legit like lottery pick. Like just
Spread's 3.5.
just a bucket, like just a straight up bucket, and it's went up. Xavier opened like 1.5, shut up to 3.5. I'm loosely on Texas in America right now. I'll tweet them like officially in like a few.
Yeah, I'll tweet them too, but I'm on Mount St. Mary plus 2.5, under 128.5, and then Texas right now, but I don't know yet.
Dukes.
Give me Xavier every which way. This is going to be another home game for them. Playing
fair
an
point.
hour away. Played in this arena early in the year in an exhibition game. They shot lights out. I fucking love Xavier so much. Conwell and Maddox, I think, are going to go nuts, and Fremantle's healthy, so last ride for him. I love Xavier in this.
Read a stat last night. Fremantle has scored in double digits in every game he's played for Xavier this year.
Wow.
Also-
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
pretty
but then
good.
yeah, I mean,
He's been there forever.
Yeah. Well, this year, but
He's just been there forever.
yeah.
Yeah. He's good.
Phil, what do you got tonight to close us out?
Got something for you too.
Give me Sixers plus 12 tonight versus OKC because OKC is going to be resting a lot of their guys.
Oh yeah, they are, Phil. You know it. That's smart. That's good GMing right there.
Okay, the OKC has a Sixers pick. Only if it lands between 7 to 12, 7 to 14 or whatever. So OKC wants the Sixers to win this game.
Yep.
In order to increase their odds, so it'd be an ultimate fuck you. Quentin Grimes probably drops like 50 tonight.
Dayton money line too.
Okay.
Also, Bosco,
Yeah.
something for you and the portal watch for our friends in Providence.
Bryce Hopkins, right? Did
Portal.
see this.
He's gonna get a bag. Are you gonna call your guy?
Did he play 3 games? He got hurt, right? Or
Well,
no, did he just sit out?
They're starting to think that maybe he just used Providence for the NIL and for the rehabbing on their done, and then go portaling.
Jesus.
Maybe
Yeah, it's a
there's
messy
couple-
world.
There's a couple schools early in the mix. Illinois, St. John's. Maybe you call your guys.
Maybe.
Oh, Magic stream tonight, 3 o'clock or today, 3 o'clock. Could make the playoffs. I'm in the 6th seed right now, the All-Star break. Jack,
And,
Alonzo Mourning. Let's go.
playing games tonight and first round games all the rest of the weekend.
We'll be streaming tonight.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
starting
you guys-
tonight.
you guys stream too,
Play-ins.
right?
I have a stream at 4 to 6. Rocket Men, so flip between me and Clemmer, and then we are streaming the games tonight. Was it 6:40 and 9:10?
640.
6:40 and 9:30 probably. So
Rocket Man.
we'll be streaming again.
All right.
Phil.
Phil just
Oh,
got
Mount St. Mary's.
DCMA'd.
Did anybody bet the 16 game?
I think I'm gonna bet Mount St. Mary.
I think I'm bet American, but I haven't yet. I could get swayed.
All right, I'm gonna
American-
look into it, but I might do the first half under tonight.
American has one of the highest post
I'll
up
do that
rates
too.
in the country. Learned that last night too. Deep in the weeds.
First half under, no matter what it is. I'm taking
all right.
it.
All right, that is Pick Central. We'll see you
Probably
all.
like
I was
58.
gonna say it's gonna be high 50, 60.
See you tonight. See you all weekend.